first thing that we're gonna do is remove both front wheels and tires. Then we're gonna go ahead and remove the cotter pin out of our castle nut for our axle. And we'll go ahead and remove the castle nut. Then the brake caliper bolts. Then the brake caliper, we'll just let it hang for the time being. Then we're gonna remove the brake scraper. We're removing the one 10mm bolt. And we'll go ahead and grab the hub, remove it. Then we're gonna remove the cotter pin from the tie rod. Then the nut. Then we're gonna hit the knuckle right here. Then remove the tie rod. We're gonna go ahead and loosen our shock bolt and remove the nut. Then we're gonna go ahead and take a ratchet strap, wrap it around the cage of the machine, and have it ready. Then we're gonna pick up on the A-arms, remove the shock bolt, and tie the shock up out of the way. Then we're gonna go ahead and remove the cotter pin from the lower ball joint. We're gonna remove the nut off the lower ball joint. Then we're gonna go ahead and separate the lower A-arm from the knuckle. Best way to do this is to take one hammer, stick it right here on the lower portion of the A-arm, and then take another and hit it. And you can just pick up, wiggle it around, it'll come right out. And you just pick this A-arm all the way up as high as it'll go, pull your axle out, and just take your axle, twist your tie rod around, and let it hang just like that. That way it doesn't crease the boot on the inner or outer. Then we're gonna go ahead and hook our shock back up for just a second. Just makes it easier to get the upper ball joint disconnected. Just like that. And we'll spin this around. We'll get up in there and we'll get our cotter pin out. Then we're gonna go ahead and remove the nut off the upper ball joint. And we're gonna take our two hammers and separate the ball joint. Once you've hit it a few times, it should just pull off with ease. Then we're gonna go ahead, take our shock bolt back out, tie our shock up out of the way again. Then we're gonna disconnect the brake line from the A-arm. We're just gonna undo the brake line out of each of the holders. We're just gonna take it and sit it right up here behind the front bumper. Then we're gonna disconnect the A-arms from the frame of the machine. There'll be 4 bolts, 2 on the upper, 2 on the lower. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove the hardware from the A-arms and remove them from the frame of the machine. Now it's time to repeat all the steps for the driver's side. On the driver's side, you have to remove the plug to get to the bolt, and then we're gonna get our bushings and ball joints installed to both of our new SuperATV High-Clearance arms. Now I'm gonna be showing you how to install your new heavy-duty SuperATV bushings into your A-arms. If you'd like to install your factory bushings into your A-arms, we're gonna link a video in the description below. Check that out, and I'll show you everything you need to do to get them installed. So let's get started on these bushings. What you're gonna wanna do is take one of your bushings, Push them in as far as you can by hand. Then you're gonna grab a rubber mallet and tap them all the way in until it's flush. Then you're just gonna roll it over to the opposite side. Do the same exact thing. Tap the bushing all the way in. Then we're gonna take our metal sleeve. We're gonna slide it in by hand. And make sure that it has the equal distance on either side of the bushing. Then we're gonna pop the bushings in on this side, and the process is gonna be exactly the same as the opposite side. Then repeat these steps for the rest of your A-arms. Next, we're gonna head over to the press and press our factory ball joints out of our factory A-arms. The first thing we're gonna do, sit the A-arm up here, sit it somewhere where it's good and sturdy. We're gonna remove the snap ring off the ball joint. Just gonna take a pair of snap ring pliers. Get it lined up. Just pull the snap ring right off. Set it aside. And we're gonna find something that sits around the ball joint, just like this. So it's gonna lay on the outside of the ball joint on the lip of the A-arm right here. Then we're just gonna find something that fits on the ball joint right here on the top of it. We're gonna use the socket. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a socket or something to press with, sit it on top of our other socket or something to press the ball joint out with. We're gonna get everything lined up. That way the ball joint presses out straight. And we're just gonna start pressing the press down here. Continue pressing it until the ball joint comes out of the factory A-arm. Next, we're gonna be pressing our ball joints in to our SuperATV A-Arms. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take our ball joint, slide it up into the ball joint housing on the A-arm. Make sure we get it as straight as possible. And we're gonna find something that just fits over the lip of the ball joint. You gotta find something that'll slide past this boot. This fits it a little bit tight, but it will slide past the boot without damaging it. We've done it numerous times. Then we're gonna find something that's wide enough on the bottom side so we can lay the A-arm just like this and the ball joint can press through. So we're gonna use this piece of piping here and then this piece to press the ball joint in. So we're just gonna lay it up here. Make sure we get it good and centered. We're just gonna press that ball joint in until it fully seats. Gonna go around, make sure that our snap ring groove is visible all the way around, which it is. So once the ball joint's pressed in there, we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our snap ring. So we're just gonna lay our A-arm up here, take the snap ring and the snap ring pliers, open them up, just go through, make sure it goes down in the groove, good. Looks like it's good all the way around. Now press the ball joint into your other upper A-arm. All right, so now we got our bushings and ball joints installed to all of our A-arms. It's time to get our A-arms installed. We got our upper A-arm on our driver's side. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our hardware and get it attached to the frame of the machine. Just wanna make sure that you go up underneath your brake line here. Just slide it right into position. Once you have your upper A-arm hardware installed, you'll want to go ahead and get your nuts started on each of the bolts. And remember, on the driver's side, you have to remove the plug to get to the bolt. We're just going to go ahead and reach right inside the cab here and get our other nut started. Then we're going to grab our knuckle and go ahead and get it installed. We'll just flip it around backwards just like we did whenever we took it off. We'll get our nut started. Then we're going to go ahead and fully tighten our nut and install our cotter pin. So we'll just let it hang down there just like that. Make sure that you keep your axle up out of the way. If you just take your tie rod, it'll sit right there and it won't bind up or hurt the boots. Just want to tighten that castle nut until your cotter pin hole lines up. Let's get your cotter pin installed. Then we're just going to pick up on our knuckle as far as it'll go and slide our axle in. Then we're going to grab our lower A-arm and go ahead and get it installed to the frame of the machine. And go ahead and get the nuts installed on both of these bolts. Then we're going to grab our lower castle nut. We're going to pick up on the A-arm and the knuckle and get it so our lower A-arm lines up with our lower ball joint. Go ahead and get the nut started. Then we'll go ahead and let our shock down. And we'll attach it to our upper A-arm. Go ahead and get your nut started. Then take your tie rod, slide it in place. Go ahead and run the nut up there. Then we're going to grab our hub. Slide it on there, and we're going to grab our castle nut and our washer. Slide the washer on first, and the castle nut. And we're going to grab our caliper. Get it into position and then start your bolts. Then you'll want to grab your brake scraper. Go ahead and get your hardware started for that as well. Then grab your factory hardware for your brake lines. Go ahead and attach the brake line to the A-arm. Now all you got to do is go through, fully tighten all your hardware, reinstall your cotter pins, and then repeat all these steps for the opposite side. Then you're going to go ahead, reinstall your wheels and tires, and that's how super easy it is to install SuperATV's high-clearance A-Arms on this Honda Talon 1000R. For more information on these A-Arms or any of SuperATV's great products, feel free to give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.